Welcome to another episode of r/Entitledparents. If you're unaware what this subreddit is, it's basically stories about encounters with rude parents that think the world owes them everything because they have kids. So sit back, relax, and let's get annoyed. You expect me to help you after you demanded to be compensated for not going to your own father's funeral? You don't deserve anything, and I'll only speak to you in any other language other than English. I apologize in advance because this is a relatively long story, but I have to give context so you can understand my anger and frustration close to the end. So I've mentioned a little about my family. They're a hot mess, both sides. A little backstory for some context, but first let's meet the cast. Entitled Auntie, me, dumb cousin, my mom. Now, my mom wasn't the greatest mom, but she did take care of Poppy, my grandpa, her dad, and I'm grateful that I at least had him growing up as my role model. Some of my family expects too much and expects help when they do nothing to show that they actually deserve it. The whole, but we're family, doesn't work on me anymore either. Recently, an auntie of mine decided to get back in contact with me. Not sure if she actually missed me or just missed getting the money from my mom. My auntie hasn't worked a day in her whole life and was basically paid by the government to pay for her being unable to close her legs. I know that sounds super harsh, but she's a very self-entitled, rude, and lazy bee. She even got her kids to sell Da Reese, cigarettes, and pronounced like Da Reese, at school, effing school, for money for herself. I know this happened because my mom and her had a screaming match when my mom found out. I used to visit my auntie and cousins all the time, to where I actually felt like they were my brothers because we were so close. However, my auntie went too far when we moved to another state and expected my mom to pay for her to come visit us. She wanted us to pay for her company. She didn't see her dad because she missed him, she did it for money. I tried to be as positive as I could for Poppy's sake because he didn't get to see his other daughters. My mom has 2 other siblings. But I had enough when entitled aunt blamed my mother for Poppy getting cancer. Effing cancer. I wouldn't be surprised if she thought it was contagious like the flu, because she was an early high school dropout. Had no book smarts or street smarts even though she lives in a very dangerous area. The kind that once it was nighttime, you shouldn't leave because of muggers, drug dealers, gangs, etc. My eldest cousin was and still is very gifted and never forgets anything. The 2 youngest, however, are really stupid. The youngest is a quarter Chinese and would actually go out of his way to call every Asian he saw a racial slur, even though he's part Chinese as well. That kind of stupid. I'm usually a calm and collected person, but once people started blaming my mom for Poppy's cancer, I lost the plot. I rarely snap, but when I do, my face gets red with rage and I shout, which I rarely do. This is what set me off. Dumb cousin. Your mother caused his cancer, you know. If he didn't live there, he'd be fine. Keep in mind, this was in 2014, and I was 18 at the time. She was 26. Dumb cousin was so much of a coward that she couldn't say it to my face, but on the phone. Me. Are you effing kidding me? We made him comfortable here when he moved. You guys could have taken him in when we moved. He didn't move with us straight away. He decided to stay with us because we actually treated him like a person and I missed him like crazy. You guys had the room to take him, but you didn't want to spend money on your own grandpa. If anyone, you should be ashamed. It was silent for a moment and then she mumbled something and hung up. Then the second youngest cousin kept ringing us and harassing us too. I took care of it because my mom wanted to be there for Poppy so he wasn't alone. I took over all the chores at the house and even cooked food for my mom to take into the hospital so she could at least eat a proper meal. After about a month after he passed, we still got harassing calls. My mom was a mess. I was too, but my mom got so depressed that she didn't eat much and kept to herself. Entitled aunt said that she was entitled to have part of her dad's cremation sent to her even though she couldn't be bothered to say goodbye to him when she could. Even my auntie, who has agoraphobia, fear of going outside, came to say goodbye. I have never yelled at entitled aunt until this point. so she was shocked and silent. Also, I have a tendency of swearing like a sailor when I'm mad. Me: "You have to be kidding me. You deserve nothing. You were too lazy to say goodbye to Poppy when he was dying in the hospital. You have no one else to blame other than yourself. Grow the hell up, you self-entitled hypocritical bee." Silence. Entitled Aunt: "But he got cancer because of your mother." How effing stupid are you? You can't catch cancer, you stupid mophead. He smoked like a chimney since he was 14 and drank a lot. Of course it was going to affect him. Keep in mind that my Poppy was born in 1942, and some people even believed it had health benefits. Entitled Aunt: "You can't talk to me like that. I'm older than you." Really? No grown adult with common sense believes that cancer is contagious, you effing wombat. You want Poppy? Come get him yourself, you lazy bee. My Poppy already made his will and agreed for his 3 daughters to keep parts of his ashes if they wanted. He even put me in his will for almost $1,500 because I was more like his daughter than grandchild and had never once disrespected him because I looked up to him. I didn't want the money, by the way. I just wanted some of his clothes. I know it sounds a little weird, but I was going to miss him and even his scent. Also his Stephen King collection because it had sentimental value to me, as he introduced me to Stephen King as a teenager, and I also wanted to keep his vinyl collection because we would do a little dorky dance with each other on some of our favorite songs. I slammed the home phone down and took deep breaths because I was so riled up that I was shaking. My mom looked at me completely shocked and asked what happened. She had never seen me this angry in her life. I was the patient one in the family and first to try to defuse the situation. "Mom, what happened? I've never heard you yell like that ever, and your face is tomato red." After I told her, giving a synopsis because Entitled Aunt was plain cruel in her wording, she was upset but not surprised. We got more calls after that, and I told my mom that I'll get it and that she should just sit back down. Dumb cousin was screaming once I answered. How dare you talk to my mom like that? Instead of carrying on with this ridiculous idiotic fight, I answered in Chinese, Mandarin. She sounded obviously confused, thinking she dialed the wrong number. Dumb cousin then rang again. I answered in Chinese again. Once I hung up on her while she was yelling, I told my mom that we should block their numbers and to get a new number. Oh, by the way, the second youngest cousin has actually gone to jail for numerous things, including battery and assault, getting in bed with a minor. I wish I could also testify assault as well, but my only proof is my PTSD. I hope he rots in prison. I decided to share this because it's his death anniversary and my entitled auntie tried to get in contact with me and start drama all over again. I, of course, blocked her and still wrote her number down just in case she tries to harass my mom or others in our family that have also cut ties with her. I don't care what you say to me, but come after my mother and I'll hunt you down. I'm sorry, someone in my family is dead. I posted in r/child free, but someone suggested I should post here too. I've never been so disgusted in my life. My aunt died suddenly today and I'm trying to fly an emergency flight home and my flight was canceled. This bee with a stroller is trying to cut in line while I'm trying to get new tickets. She's in a hurry because she's about to miss family boarding for her on-time flight. I said, I'm sorry, I was here first. She starts to argue with me, and I said, I'm sorry, my flight was just canceled and someone in my family just died. I'm not in the mood. She seriously effing says, I'm traveling with a child. I snap back, your child is alive. Someone in my family is dead. She goes, you're not the only one going through things. Sorry you feel special. I said, sorry you feel special just because you have a child. She finally goes, I'm gonna let you go because you seem like you're in a bad place. I looked her dead in the eyes and said, yeah, I am. She then gets into an argument with me about how she was in line but she was off to the side. I said, so you weren't in line. She then had the nerve to tell me that I don't know how lines work. Unknowing of the situation, her husband comes up to me asking if they could cut because they were about to miss family boarding. She says, don't ask her. I snapped at him too. Thanks for checking out my video, guys. I hope these stories filled you with all the feels. Also, share this video with a friend, hit that like button, and subscribe if you're new, or a Karen will hide in your closet and stare at you while you sleep.